For founders, raising money is never just about getting cash into the bank account. It's about setting the terms of ownership, control, and long term alignment with investors. The instrument you choose, whether a safe, a convertible note, or an equity round, fundamentally shapes your startup's financial future. It defines how much dilution you'll take, how quickly you can close, and what kind of relationship you'll have with your investors. Understanding these instruments isn't just legal housekeeping, it's strategy. The wrong choice can cost millions in valuation or even cost you control of your company. The right choice, however, gives you speed when you need it, clarity when it matters, and credibility with investors as you grow. Today, we'll break down the three main funding instruments, what they are, why they matter, and when to use them. Funding instruments matter because they define the rules of the deal between you and your investors. The first impact is on dilution. How much ownership do you give up today, and under what terms will it expand in the future? The structure you choose determines whether you're giving away more equity than necessary or protecting your stake for later rounds. The second impact is on control. Some instruments are more investor friendly, embedding terms like debt obligations, board seats, or protective provisions. Others are simpler and founder friendly, giving you speed and flexibility. The third impact is on future fundraising. The agreements you sign today affect your ability to raise capital tomorrow. Poorly structured instruments can complicate your cap table, scare away future investors, or force painful renegotiations. This is why every founder must understand the terms before signing. You can't outsource this entirely to lawyers. You need to know how valuation caps, discount rates, interest, maturity dates, and ownership percentages will play out over time. The choice of funding instrument is not just paperwork, it's the architecture of your financial future. The SAFE, or Simple Agreement for Future Equity, was invented by Y Combinator as a founder-friendly alternative to convertible notes. Its goal was to simplify early-stage fundraising, making it faster and cheaper for startups to raise money. Here's how it works. Investors give you money today, and in return, they receive the right to equity later, usually at your next priced round. There's no debt, no repayment, and no interest. The SAFE is a promise of future equity under agreed terms. The key terms are threefold. Valuation cap. This sets the maximum company valuation for conversion. It protects investors from runaway valuations by ensuring they get a favorable price, even if the next round is much higher. Discount rate. This gives investors a percentage discount, often 10 to 20%, on the next round's price per share. It rewards them for taking early risk. MF. The most favored nation clause ensures that if you later issue safes with better terms, earlier investors get those terms too. The bottom line is speed and simplicity. Safes are fast to execute, cheap in legal costs, and easy for founders to understand. They're perfect for seed stage fundraising when you need money quickly and don't want to bog down in complex negotiations. That's why so many Y Combinator companies, and increasingly, startups outside YC, use safes for their first fundraising. Convertible notes are the predecessor to safes and remain widely used. They're similar in concept. Investors give money today in exchange for future equity, but they're structured as debt. Here's what that means. A convertible note starts as a loan. It accrues interest, usually 2 to 8% annually. It also has a maturity date, often 18 to 24 months, by which it must either convert into equity or be repaid. Of course, most startups can't repay, so conversion is the expected outcome. Like safes, convertible notes include valuation caps and discount rates, giving investors downside protection and upside participation. The mechanics of conversion are almost identical to safes. The difference lies in the debt structure. Because they are technically loans, Convertible notes are more investor friendly. They give investors leverage if the company struggles, since the debt technically comes due at maturity. Some founders see this as a risk. If you can't raise your next round in time, you may face pressure to renegotiate or default. Despite that, many investors still prefer notes. They are familiar, legally well established, and provide protections that SAFEs don't. For founders, they can feel slightly heavier, but they remain a common early stage instrument. An equity round is the most traditional and formal fundraising instrument. Here, investors buy shares directly at an agreed valuation. Unlike safes or notes, there's no future conversion. It's ownership from day one. Equity rounds involve a more comprehensive process. Due diligence. Investors conduct a full review of your financials, legal structure, and business fundamentals. They want to know exactly what they're buying. Term sheet negotiation. This lays out the valuation, the price per share, and key provisions like board seats, protective rights, and liquidation preferences. Legal documentation, stock purchase agreements, updated cap tables, and governance documents formalize the ownership. Closing and capital. After signatures, the money is wired and investors officially become shareholders. Equity rounds bring clarity. Everyone knows who owns what, but they are also time consuming and expensive, often requiring weeks of negotiation and significant legal costs. For that reason, they are most common at Series A and beyond, when companies have proven traction and institutional investors require precision. Equity rounds represent maturity. They're slower, but they provide full alignment and transparency, an essential step for companies aiming for scale. Looking at history helps us see how these instruments play out in practice. Airbnb's seed round was raised through a convertible note with Sequoia Capital. This structure allowed them to get money quickly without negotiating a priced round, giving them fuel to scale before their Series A. Y Combinator portfolio companies almost universally use safes during their accelerator programs. The speed, simplicity, and founder friendly terms make safes ideal for the scrappy seed stage. By contrast, Series A and beyond almost always involve priced equity rounds. At that stage, institutional investors require detailed term sheets, full ownership clarity, and governance rights. Equity rounds create the transparency and structure needed for larger, more complex deals. The lesson is straightforward. Match the instrument to the stage. Early on, use safes or notes for speed. Later, move to equity rounds for precision and credibility. Safe agreements, convertible notes, and equity rounds are not just technicalities, they are the rules of engagement between founders and investors. Safes prioritize speed and simplicity, making them ideal for early fundraising. Convertible notes add debt mechanics that investors often appreciate, but they come with added pressure. Equity rounds bring full clarity and alignment, but require time, cost, and complexity, best suited for later stages. The real world stories of Airbnb, YC startups, and countless Series A companies prove the point. There is no one size fits all. The key is matching your instrument to your stage, your investor type, and your strategic goals. The final takeaway is this: fundraising is not just about money, it's about architecture. The instruments you choose shape your cap table, your investor relationships, and your future fundraising ability. Understand them deeply, use them wisely, and you'll not only secure capital, you'll protect your company's long term vision and control.